It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon in Manhattan, the kind of day that washed away the city's glitter and left behind its raw edges. Billionaire entrepreneur Ryan Blake sat alone in the corner booth of a cozy, tucked-away diner on 6th Avenue. The world outside buzzed with umbrellas and cab horns, but inside time slowed. His driver had insisted they stop here, some hole-in-the-wall place known for its pie. Ryan didn't even like pie. But something about this place, something unpolished and warm, felt like a pause from his otherwise relentless life. He scrolled through his phone, distracted, until a soft, familiar voice brought him out of it. "Coffee, sir?" He looked up. She stood before him in a faded blue apron, her hair pulled into a simple ponytail, eyes tired but kind. Her smile faltered when their eyes met, and then it returned, but softer, unsure. He blinked. "Emily?" The waitress flinched. Her tray wobbled slightly before she steadied it. Sorry, do I know you?" she asked, but her voice was thin with disbelief. Ryan stood up slowly, as if not to break the spell. "It's me, Ryan. Ryan Blake, Lincoln High." She stared and her breath caught. "Ryan Blake? The guy who won the science fair and gave his medal to the kid with asthma? That Ryan Blake?" He laughed, an honest, deep laugh he hadn't heard in years. "That medal wasn't real gold, you know." Emily smiled. "A real one this time. Didn't matter. You made him feel like he mattered." The moment was surreal. The billionaire and the waitress. Two past lives colliding in a diner between lunch rushes. They sat, her on break now, across from each other like two kids back in the school library. He asked about her life, where she'd been, what happened. She was hesitant at first, but there was a comfort in Ryan's eyes. Not pity, not surprise, just warmth, real warmth. "I had dreams," she began. "Teaching maybe, or writing. But life?" She stirred her coffee. It had other plans. Her husband had passed away 5 years ago from cancer. Left with 2 kids and no college degree, she did what she had to. Cleaning, waitressing, whatever paid the bills. She never begged, never cut corners. She raised her children with values, the kind her mother gave her. Kindness, dignity, resilience. Ryan listened, really listened. In his world of boardrooms and backstabbing, he rarely met anyone who spoke from the heart anymore. "You know," he said quietly, "you were always the one who stood up for the underdog. Even back in school. Remember when you stopped the seniors from bullying that freshman?" She nodded. "He had braces and no friends. Just wanted to eat his lunch in peace. You sat next to him every day. I didn't want him to feel invisible." Ryan was quiet a moment. "That stuck with me. You always made people feel seen." A few more minutes passed. Easy conversation, flowing, old memories resurfacing. But soon her break ended. The world of orders and tips called her back. Ryan watched her move gracefully between tables, patient with the rude, kind to the lonely. She never once wore a fake smile. She meant every word. He left a generous tip that day, but it wasn't the end. The next morning, he returned. And the next, every day for 2 weeks he came by. Sometimes they talked, sometimes he just watched. She never asked why he kept coming, and he never explained. It was enough to just be there. Then, one Friday evening, as the sun dipped below the skyline, he made a quiet offer. "You ever think of finishing school?" Emily raised a brow. "At my age, with 2 kids and bills taller than my resume." "I'm serious. You'd be incredible in a classroom. Kids need someone like you." She chuckled. "And who's going to sponsor that little fantasy?" "The coffee fairy?" He smiled. "How about the billionaire sitting in front of you?" Emily's face dropped. "Ryan, I'm not trying to rescue you," he said quickly. "You don't need rescuing, but maybe a little support, a little nudge. Tears welled up. She shook her head. "You don't owe me anything." "I know, that's why I want to do it." She said no at first. Pride was a stubborn thing, but eventually, after long talks and soul-searching, she agreed, with one condition. He would help others too, not just her. That was how the Emily Initiative began. It started small: scholarships for single parents, free daycare programs during night classes, financial literacy workshops. Emily became the face of it, not as a spokesperson, but as a mentor. She knew what it was to struggle, and more importantly, to keep going. She finally got her degree, became a teacher at an underserved school in Queens. Her first classroom had peeling paint and second-hand books, but to her, it was a palace. Ryan visited sometimes, sitting in the back of her class, watching her bring light to kids society had written off. And each time, he left with more than he came with. People talked, of course. Media spun tales of secret romances and fairy tale endings. But the truth was simpler and far more beautiful. It wasn't about rescue. It was about recognition. About two people who remembered each other not for who they had become, but for who they had always been. One day, years later, during a gala for the initiative, Emily took the stage. She looked out at the crowd of polished shoes and high expectations and began to speak. "I used to serve coffee in a diner. People looked past me. But Ryan didn't. He looked at me like I mattered, and that reminded me to look at myself the same way." The room fell silent. She continued, "There are people around us every day who we fail to see. They are more than their job titles or worn shoes. They are stories waiting to be heard." After the speech, Ryan approached her, handing her a small box. Inside was the old science fair medal, slightly rusted, still unremarkable in value. "Thought you might want to hold on to this," he said. "It always belonged to someone who made people feel like they mattered." She laughed, brushing away tears. "Still not real gold, huh?" "Nope," he said, smiling, "but the feeling is." Years passed. The initiative grew. Ryan kept building companies, but he always said the best investment he ever made was in a waitress with tired eyes and a heart that never gave up. Emily's children grew up seeing the power of compassion. One became a social worker, the other a civil rights attorney. The world didn't change overnight, but in the hearts of those Emily touched, in classrooms, diners, and scholarship halls, it shifted. Kindness echoed, quietly, consistently. And it all began with one cup of coffee, one moment of recognition, and one man who never forgot the girl who made others feel seen. Not every hero wears a cape. Some wear aprons, and some remember.